Let me ask you something. Have you ever hit an 8 iron 155 one day? Then the next round it goes to 142, and suddenly you've got no clue what club to pull anymore. That sounds familiar. You don't have a distance problem. You have a distance trust gap problem. And most golfers never fix it. Because once trust disappears, scoring disappears. You start steering your swings, decelerating, aiming shots, guessing numbers, and now you're playing golf with doubt, and that is not a good thing. Today, I'm going to show you why that happens and the exact system that I've used to fix it. Hey everyone, it's Doug with Golf Reboot. My goal is to help you get better at golf faster. Jump in the chat now. What club do you trust the least? Is it your driver, wedges, your 7 iron? For me, most golfers I work with immediately say, I never know how far my wedges go. Let me know yours down in the chat. We'll go through some of them later. Here's a first breakthrough. Most golfers think distance trust comes from hitting one great shot. It doesn't. A great shot is a great shot. That's a lot of fun, but that doesn't mean anything. It comes from knowing your patterns. There's a huge difference. Anybody can hit one flush 7 iron 160 yards. Been there, done that. But if your normal carry is 148 and your miss is 142, that memory of hitting it 160 is hurting you. I see it all the time. You're a golfer, you've got 150 to the pin. You pull out the 8 iron because you hit 155 once. You come up short in the bunker and then you say, I need to swing better. No, that's not what it is. You need a better relationship with reality. That's what's going to lower your score. I know I've hit my 8 iron 150 before, but that was not a good shot. It really wasn't. My 7 iron is my 150 club because it's consistent 145 to 155. I've talked about it before. You need to play smarter. Today, I'm going to give you 3 reasons golfers lose trust in their distances, and then I'll show you how to build what I call your distance profile. So when you stand over the ball, you stop guessing, you start committing, and committed swings score better. What club do you mistrust the most? For me, it's my 4 iron. I don't know why, I just can't hit it. So let's get into it a little bit. What's the distance trust gap? We talked about it a little bit in other videos. It's the gap between what you think you hit and what you actually hit. What you trust under pressure. For example, my 7 iron, like I said before, 145 to 55, probably 155 on a perfect strike. I've hit it 160 if I really get onto it. I want to get further with it. Eventually I will, but right now I know that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm at. So the reality is 145 to 155, I'm going with my 7 iron. It may change if I've got danger in front, I may go with a 6. If I've got danger off the back, I may go with an 8. Lay up a little bit shorter. Not normally, but I could. So why don't you trust your distances? Reason number 1, use best shot yardages. That's the biggest mistake. Most golfers choose clubs based on their perfect shot, not the average. You hit it 160 one time with a 7 iron or 8 iron, and you think, oh, I know I can do that. Well, you're not doing it consistently. That's a problem. You're not using your average shot. That's like budgeting for your life based on lottery winnings. It doesn't work. You need to plan and know where you're going. Your game improves when you know what's normal, what's safe, and what shows up under pressure. Now, number 2, strike inconsistency. So this is something where the mechanics get more involved, and we talk about that a little bit, but we really talk more about playing golf smarter. So if you're thinning, heeling, towing, that's going to change your number. If you're not making contact between the 2nd and the 5th groove on your clubs, you're not going to be hitting the ball well. If you thin it, it's going to probably, not go anywhere near as far. Off the toe, you're going one way, off the heel, or off the hosel. That's when you're going to see a hosel rocket shooting straight out to the right. Those are all problems. You need to gain that strike consistency, and that's going to make your game better. Once you have that consistency, you can focus more and you can know, okay, this club's going to go this far because I always hit it in this gap. Are you usually long or short? That can tell you things about your swing. That can tell you that you're completely wrong with what you're expecting. If you have no stock shot identity, that's also going to be a problem for you. Do you hit a high ball? Do you hit a low ball? Do you have a fade? A fade would be to the right. Do you have a draw off to the left? With my irons, I generally have a slight draw or hit it pretty straight. With my longer clubs, I have more of a 10-yard fade. 10 to 15 yards with my driver, a little bit less with the other clubs. You need to know what your shot is going to do so that you can plan for it. If I know that I'm tight on the left side and I'm pretty much wide open on the right, I'm fine with my fade, even if it goes a little bit further than I want it to. It's not a slice, it's a fade. If I have a shot where I have a lot of trouble off on the right, I'm probably going with an iron as opposed to my woods, even if I'm further out, even if I might not make it to the green. That's because I know that's going to draw back into safety. Now, pressure. That's a big one on the course. We talk about it on the range and it not translating to when you get back out onto the course. On course swings are different than on the range. Why? Because there's pressure. You have pressure when you're on the course. Whether you think so or not, you're going to have pressure on the course. What you need to do is just know your swing, know your clubs, know what you can and can't do. If you can do that, you'll be golden. Now, dealing with pressure on the course, it's a lot of thinking too much. I used to do this all the time. I was a high school golfer. I used to think way too much, have a bad shot, and that would mess with me for the rest of the round. If you don't think, you'll play much better. What I do is once I get into my pre-shot, it's the same thing every time. My setup, deep breath, and I'm swinging. I'm playing songs in my head. It gets me out of thinking, it gets me to keep moving. If you can do that, yes, you're going to be thinking between when you hit the ball and you get to the ball for your next shot. If you can just let things go at that point and focus on the next shot, you're going to be fine. May not hit it perfect, but what you have to remember is you can't change your last shot. You have to focus on the next. You also can't fix your entire swing if you're out on the course. You don't want to be adjusting like that out there. Sure, if it's something small, if I realize my grip's off or if I'm doing something stupid with my swing, I might adjust that then. But I'm not going to adjust my entire swing out on the course. My tactics on the course, I might change, but the overall swing, I'm not. I need to just know what I'm doing. I need to hit the shots and go from there. And then random practice habits. We talked about this last week. No data, no data, no pattern. I have the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro. It gives me all the data I could want. That's been fantastic for me. But even if you don't have that, if you go to the range, having a plan, playing the range like a course, hit a ball with your driver, hit a ball with a 3-wood, whatever you would normally tee off with. From there, go down to a 7 or an 8 iron as your approach shot. Do a chip each time and then go back. Take a card with you from a course you play regularly and play it that way. Now you have to remember balls going off to the sides is going to adjust the distance a little, so play for that. But if you're just constantly hitting driver, constantly hitting 7 iron, you're not going to get better because you're hitting the same club over and over and over again. That's not golf. You need to practice like you would play. That's no different than any other sport. Now, the fix, building a distance profile. That's something that we've talked about a lot. What that does, for each club, you're going to know your average carry, a safe carry, your best strike distance. So if you really get on the ball, how far it's going to go. And if you miss, you know where it's going to go. So I always use my 7 iron as an example, 145 to 155. If I miss hit that, it might come up a little bit shorter. I know that it's got a draw. If I miss, I may pull it off to the left. That's unlikely for me. If I really miss, I may open the club face and I may slice it off to the right. Doesn't happen often, but I know it can. But with my 7, I know 145 to 155. Almost every time I'm getting over 140. So if there's danger, that's 130, 135, even 140, I'm probably going to be okay. I can probably get over that. My best strike, call it 160. If I really get some speed on it, hit it hard, I'm probably not going to do that. So if the back of the green is 160, I'm fine. I'm not going over it. You have to remember too, greens aren't an exact distance. You're aiming for the fat part of the green. You're aiming for the biggest spot so that you can two putt. If the pin is 150 away and my 7 goes 145 to 155, that's the perfect club there because I have distance in front of me. I have distance behind the pin. So you're golden there. Now, I can do this for all my clubs all the way down to my wedge. Even with my putter, I putter gap. That way I know the distance is based on how far back, how far through I go. My putter speed, the swing does not change. That stays consistent no matter how far I'm putting. What changes is the distance I'm going back and through. It's similar to different wedge shots. Now, I use my wedges a little differently. I don't go with the standard 9:30, 9 o'clock, 10:30, and full swing. I grip it differently once I'm inside 45 to 50 yards. And for me, that's worked. So, what you need to do is figure that out, get to know your clubs, and your game will get better just because of that. So, some questions that have come in on this lately. My pitching wedge goes anywhere 120 to 140. Okay, so that's okay, but you have a distance trust gap of 20 yards there. I like for my wedges, my low irons to be about 10 yards. Like I said, 7 iron, 145 to 155. So if you're 120 to 140, that means you're not consistently hitting the club in the same spot. You might be coming more off the toe, more off the heel. You may be compressing less. You may be doing more of a scoop. I've noticed with scooping the ball, you might get a higher flight and less distance. So what I would focus on is record your swing. See if your swing looks the same. Record 10 swings, see if they all look the same. If they do, something else is going on. What I used to do, I had a massive out to in swing and my ball contact was never there. Now I'm more neutral or into out, which has really helped me a lot. So I would focus on that. That's most likely your swing or you're doing something with the club as it's coming down. Next question. I always come up short. Okay, so if you're always coming up short, that's not necessarily a distance trust gap. That's more of, well, your club's doing what it's doing. If I hit my 8 iron and I think it's going to be 140 to 150 and I'm constantly at 135, that means my 8 probably goes 135. It's not the club, it's not you, it's just that's where it's going to go. Until you start getting your swing speed up, which I don't recommend working on until you have consistent contact and a consistent swing and you're getting better at golf, I don't recommend any of that. If you guys have any questions while we're going, drop them down below. And then the next question we have, how often should I test distances? So that really depends. With me, anytime I make an adjustment and I get used to it, I'm probably going to recheck. Usually it's still around the same, might change a little bit. As your swing speed goes up, your distances will as well. They should all fall in that same range where each is 10 to 15 different than the next. So test them if you make a big change, test them every year, maybe twice a year. Or if you're out on the course and all of a sudden you're sending your 7 iron 175 yards and you used to do 150, something changed. So whether it's you're swinging better, swinging faster, that might be where you catch it. So go through the bag and try it again. If you don't trust your distances, usually your practice system's broken too. Our last few videos talk all about that. This week's video is going to show you all about your power leaks. Those are the things that are affecting your swing, distance, consistency, and more. Everything with your game. If this hits home, subscribe. This channel helps golfers stop guessing and start scoring. If you're serious about breaking 100 or 90 or 80, whatever you want to do, we're here for you. And if you haven't watched the rest of the Full Bag Framework series yet, I'm throwing the playlist up in a second. Go watch that next because that's how we'll fix our golf games. And comment questions down below. We'll work on answering them tomorrow, which is Monday, on our regular live at 4 p.m. Remember, our goal is to help you in 2026 so that together we can all play better, have more fun, and love the game again. See you next time.